Hello everybody, today we'll be taking a look at another LEGO Hero Factory 2010 set. Now this one I am particularly very excited to show you people, because this is the big bad guy. You know, this is the main antagonist, the main villain, and the main threat of the heroes. This is Von Nebula. That's right, we finally got to him, and of course, in case you didn't notice, I didn't do the other villains. I didn't include him like as part of the other villains. I basically let him be his own video, unlike the other villains, which I compiled into one video, except for Rotor, him and Rotor. So if you haven't seen those sets, be sure to check out the videos. This one is solely focused on this big bad guy, and let me tell you, when I finished assembling this guy together, I was half satisfied, half disappointed. I'll get to that in a second, but like before we get on to the actual model and stuff, gotta show you the box. This is set 7145 of 156 pieces. Again, it says right here from the creators of Bionicle, because after all, this is the launch of Hero Factory, the year this came out. Yes, there's like a small rip there because this is, of course, not a new set. I had to go on eBay and buy an old copy here. So of course, for an old set, you can't expect the best quality. So yeah, at least you can actually find these sets. These sets are not even officially in stores anymore. So here's what it looks like from the back. You can see Stormer and Inferno facing off against Von Nebula. Von Nebula there is creating a giant portal. I'm gonna assume is attempting to suck Stormer in, and Inferno is just trying to go for the head, trying to chop off his head there. And yeah, and that shows his other play feature for his staff, which we'll get to in the review, obviously. But apart from that, that is the box. Nothing too much, nothing too shabby, nothing too special to see there. First and foremost, though, I gotta really appreciate this is, remember, this is pre-CCBS. And what they've done with this mechanism, like using old Bionicle parts, I think it is executed very well. I think later on they'll pick up the same leg mechanic build with CCBS later on when they introduced Firelord as well as Black Phantom even later on. Now there are some disappointing factors I have to really point out for this guy, but in terms of lore, I think Von Nebula really makes an excellent villain. He really looks like a mastermind villain, like the Thanos of Hero Factory, if you will. And I really think just his overall look, if you look at him from the TV show, like goddamn, he really looks like a big threat to Hero Factory. And the fact that he's holding a very powerful vortex staff that can create black holes, yeah, he's definitely someone you do not want to mess around with. Now, size comparisons. Of course, he's obviously on the bigger side and more on the chunkier, wider side, larger unit size. But like if you put him next to a standard villain like Explode, of course you can see he's not a big super villain like Witch Doctor or Firelord. He's bigger than the other villains, but big enough to know that yeah, he is the leader of the villains, but he is not like the super big, mega big threat villain. He's just, yeah. So he stands out, but doesn't stand out too much from the rest of the villains, and that's exactly what I appreciate. They don't make all the villains like, oh, he's such a big threat, he's such a bad guy, like he's all big and powerful. That's usually the cliche part of villains. This one, they kept it simple. Now, if you compare him to an actual hero, as you probably realize, these heroes are a lot smaller. So I got Inferno in the mix. You can see Von Nebula towers over them like a lot, but if you put a team of two, so for example I have Stormer, if I put him with Inferno, it definitely looks like a pretty evenly matched. Like Von Nebula would probably only take 2 heroes to take down, not an entire team, unlike Witch Doctor. I've referenced to Witch Doctor a lot in this video, I know. But yeah, just look at the size. He's, again, like I said, he's bigger, but not so mega super big. Because sometimes keeping it simple is key, and they've definitely done it well with this guy. Now in terms of the build, I just want to first start off with the legs. Like the legs here are double jointed. Even though it's not CCPS, it is still double jointed. And I think with that, they've used like the piston gear mechanism. I guess that's okay, but they later on, again, use the same thing for Witch Doctor. So they picked, I guess, well, this guy was the first one, so he is the OG. These pieces, I'm just gonna say these are all probably like old Bionicle parts that I'm not even familiar with, but I think the color scheme, given the fact he's basically all black with a little bit of blue, it's good. You know, really makes them, it really tells you, yeah, this guy is a villain. There's no doubt he is a hero. I do not really enjoy the gap here. The gap is wide enough to the fact that I can actually fit my finger through and occasionally get caught, but I think the overall look of it is done pretty well. Also, another thing I don't like, and it's bothering me a lot, is that the fact that the thighs here, the piece here just to cover his thighs, is very, very loose, and it's not secured. It's bothering me so much. It's the same thing for this leg too. Yeah, that thing, it can't get out of my head, and it just bothers me so much. But apart from that, it actually looks pretty decent. Ankles, I love these pieces. You know, later they use them in Speed Demon. Still, especially in black, that is an excellent color scheme. Couldn't be more happier to receive that. Now, this is where also you connect his legs to, you know, his waist, which is like the same mechanism as Firelord, and then later Rocket XL, and then Black Phantom as well. So, in some sense, this was before friction adders were a thing. So this will really help, you know, keep the structure of him well. Like, the foundation is pretty strong, given the fact that he's probably a pretty heavy figure. Not really, but still, the support is kind of required. But in terms of, like, articulation, it doesn't hold back. It does limit, though. It will stop you at this point. But you can still, to the point where you can still make some pretty decent articulations with the legs. And I don't like how that limits it, but it's for a good reason, so I totally respect it, for sure. Now, of course, the back here doesn't look the brightest. It's probably expected. It's kind of bare, empty. You can see Technic pins there. You can see a giant axle sticking out. That is not cool at all. But you do see, his arms are also double jointed, similar to Rocket XL and Firelord. You can see, like, there is another quote-unquote bone joint here connected to his back, which, okay, I guess. I mean, I don't really see the point of double jointing his arms, but I guess it makes him look cooler. Sure, we can go with that. I don't know though. I don't know. I'm a little bit skeptical on this one. Also, shoulders. Yes, these spiky shoulder pieces you see on here is the exact same one as Explode. It is just a recolor to black. And I think these ones look pretty cool because when you get to the top, you can actually see hints of blue, where the black is like fading into blue. And I think that's a very nice color print on this piece. The same thing on this side. Look how like it goes from black and it slowly fades into blue. That is excellent in terms of the details. I think that is done very, very. It's sneaky. You might not notice it just from the box art, because after all, the box art is kind of a render. But if you hold the physical model and you see this, damn, that is hella impressive. I am very, very pleased of how that turned out. Now, his hands. Yes, these are Bionicle feet. Bionicle feet, we've all gotten used to. They've been used pretty much in the future as well with a lot of other CCBS sets. Not just Hero Factory, but like later on in a couple other Lego action figure themes, they will continue using this Bionicle foot. And some normal system building sets too, they even continue using this foot. But I've never seen them use this as a hand. Okay. Creative. I like it. But especially if he's holding a weapon like this, a staff, does not look convincing at all. Doesn't look like he's grabbing, he has a grip on the staff whatsoever. It just looks like it's just attached to his hand, to the palm of his hand, just like that. That's exactly what it looks like. And yeah, I mean, if Von Nebula was a creature, and didn't have the staff, just this, yeah, that'll be fine. But he's holding something. He's an actual like human-like being who has hands of holding things, especially a weapon as dangerous as this. Does not look convincing. So you need to like put it at an angle or like fold this in to actually make it look convincing. And even that, it looks kind of not convincing because his fingers are all the way out and staff is tucked all the way in. The staff is attached pretty firmly though, I will say that. It's just simply sitting like this. It's secure. It's guaranteed not going to fall off his hand. It's actually attached pretty secure, but with using the bionicle feet as his hands, not convincing at all. It does look cool though, make no mistake, I do believe this looks cool. Now maybe next time lock this axle joint the other end with like a really thin pin or something just to like hold it in place. Again, too many things are sticking out here and I really don't like that at all. The staff itself is rotatable. Yes, you can actually create a vortex-like effect if you want by spinning this. This is a good play feature. And then the orb itself in the staff, it's just two spear-like pieces, just molded. Like you just put them together on the axle. It looks cool, alright. I love the black and blue mashup going on. Really looks like, yeah, it really looks like he's creating a portal with this thing. But this axle sticking on the top. Why didn't they just make a shorter axle so the orb will just cover it fully? You won't see a axle sticking out. Maybe that's intentional. Maybe I'm wrong, but at least add something at the end instead of just a plain old axle here. But apart from that, the staff is very nice. I think the staff is done. It is definitely simple, but you know, like I said, sometimes it's simple and straightforward, but it's what makes it a good set. So, I don't know. The main problem though I do really have is his head. Now the way this head is built, the Glatorian head is basically flipped. You know, the Glatorian head is actually not faced the right way. In fact, you can actually see the top right there. And yeah, cool. The head looks cool. But I just don't like the way it's attached because you can literally make him headbang if you want. And it's just so loose. So many loose things on him. And it is really what is bothering me a lot. But make no mistake, it does look pretty cool. So if you were to just put him up on the shelf and just display him like this, you will hardly know the difference. You know, it's actually, it won't be as noticeable as you would think it is. So that's good. What else can I say? Right, the top part here, he's kind of got that hunch over look. You know, his head is actually not like all the way to the top. It's kind of like leaning forward. This is pretty nice. Again, not a big fan of the way it's attached. Also, too many axles sticking out. That is bothering me a lot. But these are pretty cool pieces and it's attached pretty well on him. So definitely that looks pretty sick. And yeah. So overall, not a bad figure, you know? But there's so many flaws with him. And definitely, this is the first time LEGO has introduced Hero. This is the first season of Hero Factory, so I have to be a little bit forgiving. But I just feel like LEGO do a lot better, you know? Like, I see their potential later on, but they really have improved. But if you look at it just as of 2010, like goddamn, they really need the improvement. I'm glad they really did commit to the improvement. I just dropped my box. I think they've learned a lot of lesson, like a big lesson from creating these sets and then later improving them with, you know, the future sets. I would say though, in terms of lore, Von Nebula is a pretty sick villain. Like, I think definitely he looks cool. But in the set form, not really. If you look at him just like on the box art or just in the show, really cool villain. Just, yeah. I would mod this. If I was a Hero Factory mock maker, I would modify Von Nebula, make him a lot more villain-like. But he really delivers on the villain-like looks. He does not fail to impress on that. And for that I am very, very glad to see. So yeah, that's it. That's all my thoughts on Von Nebula. If you guys enjoyed what I said, well, you can agree with me by liking the video. If you didn't, dislike it, whatever helps. And thank you for watching this review. If you haven't seen the other Hero Factory 2010 reviews, check them out. Got the playlist. And yeah, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Give the video a like. Blah blah blah. Sub to the channel. Have a great day, and we will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.